So, what actually happened in this accident?
The real story.
Yeah, the real story.
Um, so apparently they had dropped her off at a point, Calvin, right? They had dropped her off at a point. He had saw a shark. I think it was by some petrol garage or something, or near some, I don't know. But they had saw Jacques. Calvin later on said that he was in no state to drive, but
Jacques wasn't.
Jacques wasn't, yeah. But also to challenge my mom is a bit of a challenge. It's like challenging me, and you know how difficult I can be sometimes.
Oh,
So I can imagine she was just as
and your mom was
hectic.
the older sister,
Yeah,
so
yeah. Uh, yeah. So he did mention um, that he didn't believe that Jacques was 100%, but they weren't also that far away from Jacques' place because they were in Bethlehem. So anyway, Calvin dropped her off. She had jumped in his car. They had took the turn, and then Calvin and them had proceeded back to Johannesburg. So as they had taken the turn, it was about 10 to 1 that morning. Uh, yeah. So it happened, I think, between 10 to 15 minutes after Calvin had dropped her off. So he wasn't even as far from them. Anyway, apparently he was speeding on the gravel road. His tire burst, um, and she had flown out the window, and her neck had broke, and she died instantly on the spot. That was the story at the time.
she wasn't wearing a seatbelt. First.
Yeah,
So she got thrown from the vehicle and broke her neck.
yeah. There's pictures. I saw the pictures. There's pictures of her body laying there next to the car. So he was strapped on in the car, and he was like obviously passed out at the time, and then her body just like lays there on the side of the car. You can't even see the window, so the window was like clean out
Hmm.
in the picture. Yeah, and then the yeah. Well, that's what I know at that point.
Okay. Right, let's skip ahead to the funeral.
Oh, you don't want to know 14 years later what I read?
Yeah, what did you read?
Oh, okay. So I did. I had access to his claim, working where I worked. Um, the thing is, this guy had disappeared completely out of our lives instantly, and I couldn't understand why. But I had no brain capacity to think or spend my time wondering what happened to this person,
Hmm.
because my world was just over for the next however many years. Even in So I decided to go to try and find him, but nobody knew where to start. None of my uncles were willing or didn't want to even talk about him or whatever, because they had already threatened. I found out later that they had threatened Jacques' life after that, because Jacques had ended up as like a cabbage, like a vegetable, in the hospital for years. And apparently, someone had told his mom that if we come across your son, we will kill him. Um, I'm not justifying that. I can understand why they would say that. Um, I don't particularly blame Jacques. I didn't particularly blame Jacques at that point, um, until later. Until later, I do have question marks,
Yeah.
about his actions. Maybe his actions could have been preventable, but at that point, I didn't blame him at all. And I think I didn't blame him at all because it was the first time in a long time that I saw her happy with him. Well, I saw her happy, and it
Hmm.
was him that made her happy. Um, so maybe that's why. And maybe that's why I was so eager and wanting to find him. And so 14 years later, I searched for him everywhere. actually. Google, Facebook, can't find these people. I just can't find them. And then I had this one friend. He's actually a friend of. Uh, I don't think that really matters. Okay, so I had this one friend um, that could pull out records. I can't really say where he works right now, but like he could pull out records or whatever by something so simple like a cell phone number and stuff. So what I did was I contacted Standard Bank because Jacques used to work at Standard Bank. So I contacted Standard Bank in Bethlehem, and they took me to another branch. I think it was Bloemfontein, and I had asked to speak to Jacques Becker, and they were like, "Nah, he doesn't work here. He hasn't been working here for years." But they were so forthcoming with information. They're like, "He hasn't been working here for years, but his mom used to work here. His mom used to work at this branch." It's like, oh, okay, I'm actually trying to get a hold of anyone in the family because the accident that he was in, then they were like, yeah, no, after the accident, he stopped working because they had boarded him off, right? I was like, the accident that he was in, then they were like, yeah, I was like, I'm the daughter of the woman that was in the accident that died. Immediately, like I shattered those people's worlds, I promise you. Okay, not shattered, but I was like, whoa, exploded there in their faces.
Hmm.
They didn't know what to say. They didn't know what to say. But they were so forthcoming with the information.
Okay.
And they were like, no, the last we know that she worked here, so maybe give them a call, whatever. But I kept on reaching dead ends. Whoever I used to phone, they were like, no, we don't have any records of them, they don't work anymore, blah, blah, blah. So I just kept on reaching dead ends, and then this one friend says, let me try something. So there was two numbers that could have potentially what numbers, I just gave the name and surname actually, and he got for me two numbers, two potentially numbers
Hmm.
of Jacques, right? Potential numbers of Jacques. I found the one. Um, yeah, I remember this. I was at work that day and I found the one, and it went to voicemail, and I was like, okay, fine. The second one, it's last chance, last hope, and I was so done with searching for answers that if this wasn't going to work out, I was just going to give up. Because, like, where do I go from now? I mean, the only leads I got for searching after 14 years is two cell phone numbers. Like, come on.
Hmm.
So I went outside. And back then I used to smoke, so I had a quick smoke. And I said to God, and I was like, if this is meant to be, please just let it be. Like, let me just get some answers, some closure. Like, just give me something. And I went in, I immediately picked up that phone. I pressed the outgoing number and I dialed the number, and he says, hello. The moment this man said hello, I mean, it's been 14 years. Eh? The moment this man said hello, I knew it was him. He could lie to me about who he was. I knew it was him. I knew it was him. I knew it was him. I was like, hi, can I speak to Jacques, please? He's like, Jacques speaking? I was like, okay. Can I speak to Jacques Becker? And he's like, yeah, it's me. I was like, hi. I didn't know what to say to the man. So I was like, hi. Um, I don't know what to say, but and then I started like fumbling, I remember, and I was going all over the show, and I was like, this guy's not going to follow my conversation, so let me back up. So I said, I'm Lyvel, and you may not remember me. And then he interrupted me and he says, Lyvel. And I was like, yes. And he says, Loretta's daughter. And then, I had the same chill now. And I was like, yes. And then we stayed in silence for like a moment. And I was like, I've been searching for you for 14 years. And I had so much of questions. But now I'm like totally blank. He's like, I can't believe that little girl is phoning me. So I'm like, yeah. And then he also didn't know what to say to me. And neither did I. Well, I drew blank now. I mean, like, so I told him, I think I mentioned like 3 or 4 times, like, I don't know what to say to you, but like, I have so much questions. I don't know what to say to you, but I have so much questions. And at one point he says, well, so do I. So I was like, okay, great. Can we make arrangements? Can I talk to you? Because I do have answers, questions that need to be
What
answered.
questions did he have for you? Never
Oh,
mind. We'll get to that.
yeah, it's another episode on its own. There, Purple Loves. Yeah, and he was so like, like easygoing, and he's like, yes, yes, like so accommodating, like yes, yes, no, any questions, whatever, feel free to phone me anytime, and that, you know. Um, yeah, we'll leave that for another episode because that's gonna go into that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you at some point contacted him. I'll leave that detail for another point.
Yeah.
But
Did I ever tell you that story?
yeah,
Oh, okay. So you know what a douchebag he ended up being.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah. Tell me.